morning. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channels. I can see on my part series. The week that was college football history review, the 1986 college football season. Week number 8. We're going to start with Boston College beating West Virginia 1910. Rivalry between schools had been heated, but one-sided of late as Mountaineers sported a 9-game winning streak in the series, about to embark on a year-closing winning streak. The Eagles had better material this year, but West Virginia quarterback Ben Reed put fear into Boston College by passing for 201 yards, trailing 12-3 after the Eagles kicker Brian Lowe booted school record 4 field goals. Reed led Mountaineers to Boston College's 12-yard line before defensive back Ed Duran picked off tip pass. After punt, Reed drove West Virginia University 80 yards to 26 yards. Touchdown pass to wide receiver Harvey Smith. In fourth quarter, Eagles built on their 12-10 edge with 66-yard scoring drive, featuring 47 yards rushing, short touchdown dive by fullback John Bronner. Reed was off again, hitting 3 passes to move Mountaineers to BC 12-yard line before defensive end Eric Lindstrom came up with important interception. As tailback Troy Stratford, 96 yards rushing, allowed him to become Boston College's all-time leading rusher with 2,812 yards, 53 more than tailback Mike Esposito. North Carolina State, number 20 team in the country, beat Clemson by a score of 27-3. Wolfpack reversed Clemson's blueprint for success by rushing for 253 yards against nation's fourth best run defense, halting Clemson's string of 14 consecutive 200-yard rushing games. Quarterback Eric Kramer threw 2 touchdowns, and kicker Mike Kofer added 2 field goals to finish off what NC State rushers started. Tigers, who briefly enjoyed 3-0 lead, rushed for 141 yards while passing for 72 yards. NC State wide receiver Haywood Jeffries scored a touchdown on a 2-yard reception and another on a 62-yard run. Next, Penn State, the number 6 team in the country. Penn State, number 6 team in the country, beat number 2 Alabama 23-3. Nick Lyons of Penn State won with traditionally tough defense, holding tied to 44 yards rushing, 222 yards below average. Linebacker Shane Collins and company stuffed Bama sweeps and pressed quarterback Mike Shula second half 5 times. Lions also had 2 interceptions and 3 4 recoveries. Penn State gained 278 yards. State quarterback John Schaefer ran his regular season mark to 18-0, suffering worst loss since Georgia's 21-0 win in 1976. Alabama still led 3-0 early 40-yard field goal by kicker Van Tiffen. Victory over marquee foe propelled the Lions up to number 2 spot in the AP poll. Auburn, the number 7 team in the country, beat Mississippi State 35-6. Undefeated in conference, the Bulldogs looked to this game as statement to nation. It was unintentional negative as Tigers rolled a 21-point second quarter to blowout. 21-point second quarter to blowout win. Game was as good as over early in the second quarter when Auburn tailback Brent Fullwood, who had 16 carries for 179 yards, took a pitch out and ran 88 yards for a touchdown. First of his trio. Fullwood was battling the flu, but instead sinking the Bulldogs. Meanwhile, the Auburn defense held Mississippi State to 47 yards rushing. Twice picked off quarterback Don Smith. Bulldogs finally scored in the fourth quarter on a 16-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Mike Davis to wide receiver Jerry Myers. Nebraska, the number 3 team in the country, lost to Colorado 20-10. Colorado fans could celebrate. The 18-game losing streak to the Huskers finally was over, holding Nebraska's lowest rushing total in 8 years. 123 yards. Buffalo's defense earned kudos as Colorado offense contributed 2 trick plays, touchdowns as wide receiver Jeff Campbell scored on a 39-yard reverse in the first quarter. Halfback O.C. Oliver threw 52 yards to wide receiver Lance Carl for clinching touchdown in the fourth quarter. Quarterback Steve Taylor scored Husker touchdown, running in from 2 yards out to offset frustrating day, in which he was held to 27 yards rushing and 7 for 21, 2 interceptions passing. Both those kicker Dave Dewline added 2 field goals, including a 57-yard loop, 10-0 halftime lead. Next, we got Texas beating Southern Methodist, the number 18 team in the country, 27-24. Kicker Jeff Ward's 40-yard field goal with 40 seconds remaining. One game as Texas thought it had bagged while sporting an early 21-0 lead. Ward's three-punter was set up by cornerback Eric Jeffries' interception at SMU 47-yard line. It came after tailback Edwin Simmons started his first game in 3 years. Nearly earned goat horns and losing fumble at Pony's 15-yard line with 2:10 left. Simmons rushed for 85 yards, scoring twice in the first half for a 14-0 lead, and Howans led to a 255 to 48-yard running edge. Now, quarterback Bobby Waters shook off 3 interceptions to rally Mustangs by throwing for 285 yards and touchdowns of 66 yards and 19 yards to wide receiver Ron Morris, who caught 16 passes for 162 yards receiving and 14 yards to wide receiver Jeff Jacobs. Next, we got the Air Force Academy beating the San Diego State by a score of 22-10. Now, the Falcons of Air Force moved into first place in the WAC as fullback Pat Evans ran for 116 yards of team's 314 yards. Ahead of Air Force was ahead 17-10 in the third quarter, when linebacker Trent Pickering was inserted. Only 2 plays after entering game. Pickering contributed crucial interception at own 21-yard line that he returned 41 yards to set up insurance field goal. San Diego State was held to 107 yards in second half, despite passing of quarterback Todd Santos. Santos was sacked 7 times by Flyboy's aggressive rush. The Air Force nose guard John Steed gaining 2 points on safety in the second quarter. Finally, we got Southern California beating Stanford, number 19 team in the country, 10-0. Our Flying Cardinal was grounded as the Trojans allowed 172 yards, only 64 yards being earned in the second half. Now, Stanford fullback Brad Muster was held to 35 yards rushing by quarterback John Pay, who opened the game by completing 10 of 11, ended up with 23 of 37 for 172 yards and 3 interceptions to passing. USC used 5 sometimes, 6 defensive backs in coverage, and Trojans defensive back Louis Brock, son of Baseball Hall of Famer Lou Brock, returned interception 41 yards to set up game's only touchdown. It developed as 18-yard pass from Troy quarterback Rodney Peete to wide receiver Eric Afhalter. Stanford's best penetration was to the 38-yard line, but that came on drive when USC chipped in with a pair of 15-yard penalties. Stanford defense had a bright moment, posting goal line stand in the second quarter, as the Trojans wasted a first and goal from 1-yard line. Busy Stanford linebacker Dave Wyman logged 22 tackles and an interception. So that concludes a look at Week 8. The games that were played on October 25th, 1986, Week 8. Let's get into the AP polls of October 27th. Florida State was number 20, 19 Mississippi State, 18 Southern California, 17 Ohio State, 16 North Carolina State, 15 UCLA. The 13th spot was a tie between Arkansas and Arizona, 12 Louisiana State, 11 Iowa. The top 10 round out is this: number 10 Texas A&M, 9 Nebraska, 8 Alabama, 7 Arizona State, 6 Washington, 5 Auburn, 4 Oklahoma, 3 Michigan, 2 Penn State, and number 1 Miami. So that concludes a look at college football history review, the 1986 college football season for week number 8, games that are played on October 25th, 1986. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. Do reveal the Smack 2 tomorrow. Until then, talk to you soon.